Hello, my name is Paul Apker, and we did a leadership capstone in CBTC, and the topic of my project that we did was leadership of food truck business, case study of selected food truck businesses in Eau Claire. My purpose statement was the purpose of the study was to investigate the food truck business in Eau Claire and the role leadership can play in making it a viable and profitable business. There are 12 food trucks in 2018, according to WQOW.com, News 18, March 15th, 2018. I called up the City Hall and asked them, and they said there's actually fewer food trucks now. And they said that there was 0 food trucks that were licensed in the city streets and public parks to sell. City Hall also said there was 5 licensed food trucks on private property. And there's a lack of food truck research. When I was doing the research, I had a hard time finding food trucks in Eau Claire. My problem statement, the problem that the city of Eau Claire faces is that the food truck business is the process of licensing. The licensing is real strict, and people are going somewhere else because of no support from the city. Some licenses and permits are cheaper or less money. Eau Claire, as a growing city, is new to the food truck business. You have bigger populations, bigger cities. Chicago's a big population, and naturally they have a lot more food trucks, but we need to get a lot more food trucks here in Eau Claire. My theoretical framework is Kurt Lewin theory. In 1940 he came up with this, and it's called the freeze, unfreeze, refreeze. So you freeze your current your situation, and then now you have a problem. So now you have to unfreeze it to make a change and find a solution to fix this problem. Once you find that, then you refreeze it and you make it stick. So everybody's on the same page, everybody knows what the change is, and you make it stick. Research design. Sampled 3 out of 10 food trucks in Eau Claire. Sampled respondents purposely. They met the criteria I was looking for. When I first started, I was hoping that I could get a white food truck owner, a Mexican food truck owner, and a Hmong food truck owner. But I couldn't find that. But I did get 2 white food truck owners, and I got a Mexican food truck owner. I asked them 9 questions in an open-ended survey, followed up with personal interviews. One of them I met face-to-face, Davis Dogs, face-to-face. How I developed my context, sample, and instrument. How I designed my questionnaire. My questionnaire basically steered to the history of food truck owners and advantages and disadvantages of food truck owners. How I sampled my participants. I emailed all 3. 2 of them answered questions by email, and 1 I met face-to-face. Problems I had collecting my data. Finding food truck owners. Online I tried to find food truck owners in Eau Claire, and I didn't have much luck at all. My research basically was the City Hall that gave me the information. Also getting back my responses. It took me 2 weeks to get my responses, to get my findings, my analysis, my recommendations to finish this project. Validity and reliability of my data. Responses were anonymous. Responses were among the sample respondents were kept secret from each other. Nobody knew what the other food truck owner answers were. Respondents were given permission to opt out of responding to the questionnaires if they are not comfortable. Some people are private, and some people might not want to answer a question, so you give them the opportunity of that they don't have to answer it if they don't want to. collect data. I did this by emails, face-to-face, like I said, Davis Dogs, I did that. Two of them, the Hub and Gordo's food truck, I emailed. I made a phone call to the City Hall to ask the questions about the licensed food trucks. The observations, when I was over there with Davis Dogs, I got to see the operation of what he was doing and customers coming up and ordering food and how he conducted his business and how he conducted customer service, and he did a really well job with the customer service. Data analysis, Microsoft Word, I put all those questions onto the Microsoft Word and then emailed them to my food truck owners. Reviewed the answers. Once I got all three of them done, I looked them over, reviewed them, showed each questions and answers from food truck owners. I didn't show the food truck owners any of the questions, but when I got done, I had asked if I could show the questions from my presentation, and they said yes, that was okay. So that's what that's meaning, is that I'm going to be showing down the road, I'm going to be showing you the answers of these questions from each three: Hub, Gordo's food truck, and Davis Dogs food truck answers. My findings, what I found: advantages. You can go to crowds or customers. If you have a restaurant, the customers come to you. If you have a food truck, you can go to the customers, and if there's some big crowds or whatever, you can get more business, which means more revenue or money. Lower overhead than restaurant. You don't need waitresses, you need fewer employees, you don't need a bus boy or a bus person, and you don't need a seating person that will seat you to a table for you to order your food and eat. You work whenever you want. You can work 7 days a week, you can work just on the weekends, you can work all year round if you want. If you work like summer you can work here during the summer, and during the winter you can go south and work during the winter. So you can, if you want, you can work year round. Disadvantages: the weather. If it rains, most likely your customers are not going to get out of the car in the rain, go to order their food, get their food, and come back into their car and eat it when they want, you know. So the weather makes a big difference. If it's raining, you're probably either at home or you're closed up. The food wagon or food cart, food truck, excuse me. If your truck breaks down, it might take you a day, 2 days to get your truck fixed. So there you're going to be closed for a day, 2 days, which means that you're not going to be making any money. How I interpreted my findings: that the city is a big obstacle for food truck owners because of guideline permits and licenses. The guidelines are for City Hall and Health Department are strict. Tell me, here's my questions now that I have, that I asked them, was tell me about the history of your business. The Hub bought his truck on eBay, and he said he likes it because he could change menu depending on what customers want. Gordo food truck, he was wanting to buy a restaurant, and then he thought about maybe buying a food cart, and his wife did some research, and she advised him and said, there's a food truck for sale, let's buy it. So they bought it, and they went that route. Davis Dogs, built and customized to him by himself. He bought a step-up van, and he went and bought a $35 instruction manual on how to do a food truck, how to customize it. He said the instructions were terrible. So he went to the health department. He said, okay, show me how to do this, how to build my food truck properly. And that's exactly what he did, and he built it himself. Okay. So, tell me about any possible guidelines you have faced in your business. The hub, additional license besides Wisconsin license. In Wisconsin, you buy a license for a food truck, you can go anywhere you want. At some places, some cities, you have to have extra licenses and permits, which here you do. Gordo's food truck has strict guidelines, and Davis Dogs is okay with guidelines. How profitable is your business? The hub said in his second year, he was in the black. Gordo's food truck, it was extra income. So his actual job as a chef, and his wife's job is being a teacher. Davis Dogs, as profitable as you want. Like I was saying, you can work 7 days a week, weekend, you can work year round. Where do you go for your food business? The hub says special events and knowing how many customers in groups. If they're the larger the group, the more revenue, more money you're going to make for your business or your food truck. Gordo's food truck, larger events, pretty much the same thing as the special events. Davis Dogs, he goes to Eau Claire and Menominee. What advantages are there about owning a food truck business? The hub, bringing food to customers. Gordo's food truck, lower overhead than restaurant. Savings bring high quality food. So what I was saying is the savings that he's making because he doesn't have the bus boy or the bus person, he doesn't have all the waitresses and the seating person to seat you at the table. He could spend more money on his food that he saved and give you good quality food for the price. Davis Dogs, work when you want and you go to the customers. What disadvantages are there about owning a food truck business? The hub is seasonal weather again. Gordo's food truck, if the truck breaks down, they're closed in the events and they can't make any money. Davis Dogs, the weather. Are there any concerns you'd like to talk to me about? The hub, licensing and guidelines. And like I was saying, they're strict to do. Gordo's food truck, none. Davis Dogs, no concern. I stand up for other food truck owners, so he fights for the other food truck owners for guidelines and permits and licenses and stuff like that. Tell me any other thing you want to share. The hub says you need a good, solid business plan, and it can be fun. The cost of insurance and permits are expensive. Gordo's food truck, nothing else. Davis Dogs, I'd love to share how to build a food truck properly. Like I said, he built his food truck by himself, and he told me when I was meeting with him face to face, he said, I would like to write a book about how to do the food truck properly, and which he said that he could make some money doing that. Do you know what other cities are doing better than Eau Claire is not doing as far as the food trucks? The houses don't go anywhere else. Gordo's food truck, some smaller cities like La Crosse and Green Bay have more popular than here in Eau Claire for food trucks. Davis Dogs, Arizona, bigger population, which is, like you said, a lot of food trucks there. Eau Claire struggles with it being newer. City streets can only park for 4 hours, and it takes about an hour to set up. So it takes you an hour to set up, hour to tear down. You only got like 2 hours of service. So that's probably explaining why there's zero in city streets. Conclusions from the research. City guidelines. It's hard to get food truck licenses because of guidelines are tight, a lot of red tape. Weather and food truck breakdowns are an obstacle. Only it's seasonal unless you want to work, like I said, year-round. Low overhead, like I said, it was a lot cheaper than a restaurant. Work when you want, like we say, 7 days a week, year-round. And lack of research. like I said, there was not a whole lot of research for this project online. We need more diversity in the food truck business, which would be more food choices and taste. 5 recommendations. There should be street parking licenses. We need more food trucks for doing the city streets. There should be flexibility and guidelines and policies for the food truck business. You know, if it's not as strict, more food truck owners will come here. There should be more research to find out what other surrounding cities are doing differently in the food truck industry. And that's what, one of the things I was wanting to do was to do the gap between what other cities are doing, what Eau Claire is doing, and how to fix what Eau Claire isn't doing, and filling in that gap, which would be the recommendations. There should be more promoting of food truck owners. We need more nationalities of food owners, which means more taste of food. Here are my sources, which is the WQOW.com and my phone call to City Hall. Thank you for listening to my presentation. Once again, these are the 3 food trucks that I interviewed, which is the Hub, Gordo's, and David's Dogs. Thanks again, and do you have any questions?